Cruisers truly are the workhorse of your fleet in Hearts of Iron 4. In the game, they are subdivided into 3 classes: heavy cruisers, light cruisers, and special cruiser types. This guide will focus on cruisers with the Man the Guns DLC enabled. The only functional difference between your cruisers being light or heavy is the presence of a heavy gun module on the cruiser. If it only has light attack weapons, it will be a light cruiser, and if it has just one heavy attack module, it will be a heavy cruiser. In the game, there are 3 traditional uses for cruisers: light attack light cruisers, light attack heavy cruisers, or spotting cruisers. We'll start off with the light attack light cruisers. Light attack light cruisers are simply put light cruisers stacked with light guns. They function as okay convoy raiders and are useful in your main fleet. Due to the cost, you don't usually build these, but rather refit existing cruisers to have more gun modules. Light attack heavy cruisers have the same strength as their light cruiser variant, but the biggest difference is that they exist in the second line of battle and are thus not susceptible to light attack. Because of their high speed, they also have an increased chance to evade heavy attack from heavy ships. Their job is to demolish enemy screens while your other heavy ships take on the enemy's heavy ships. The third cruiser type is the spotting cruiser. These cruiser types are the most efficient at spotting enemy fleets for your patrolling fleets to engage. Because these ships are usually barely armed and have weak armor, they should operate independently and only serve the spotting role. Last but not least, there are the special cruisers. These are torpedo cruisers, which the Japanese can use, and the panzer skiffs, which the Germans have access to. Torpedo cruisers are honestly not that good anymore because torpedoes got nerfed and the ship becomes available way too late in the game. So my advice is to just use regular cruisers instead. Panzer skiffs, however, are amazing surface raiders and should be used independently, as they can do serious damage to enemy convoys. Cruiser templates are relatively simple in design philosophy. Whether you go for a light or a heavy cruiser, the difference is minimal. Since it's all about stacking light attack, both the light attack cruiser designs feature a top row full of light guns. There are only 2 significant differences in design. When it comes to the light attack light cruiser, armor is a requirement. Without armor, the only difference between it and a destroyer is its increased amount of HP and light attack output that is incredibly expensive and weak, as it can get taken down by destroyers itself. All gun modules should be the highest possible level light cruiser gun. If refitting older light cruisers into light attack light cruisers, it is advised to leave armor untouched, as refitting it is simply too expensive. If available, radar 3 or fire control should always be added. Light attack heavy cruisers, on the other hand, are economically one of the best ships to build in the game. They exist in the second line of combat, which means they should never be attacked by light ships. Any armor they have is also never good enough to keep battleships from piercing them, and thus armor is never required. To make it a heavy cruiser, at least one of the guns has to be a medium battery. Every other gun slot should be a light gun. AA is not necessarily a requirement, as these ships are so cheap that the risk of losing them to aircraft does not outweigh the need for the additional light attack. Add radar 3 or above or fire control if available. The only somewhat complicated cruiser design is the spotting cruiser. This is a ship designed not for combat, but to patrol sea zones to allow big combat fleets to easily engage with enemy fleets. The ship design is essentially a naked cruiser with nothing but the highest possible level of radar, sonar, and float planes. Any armament or armor on these ships should be the bare minimum, if not at all. Last but not least is the panzer skiff. Panzer skiffs are the odd one out when it comes to heavy cruisers because they do not need light screens to perform their intended job, convoy raiding. They use battleship guns and can only use secondaries for light attack. Panzer skiffs should be built with as many secondary guns as possible, no armor, a heavy gun for defense, and if radar is not available, one light gun should be exchanged for float planes. If this video was helpful, feel free to subscribe and leave a thumbs up, and if you didn't like it, make sure to let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a good day.